Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make coconut oil soap. I will put the recipe below, but for now I'm going to show you the supplies that you'll need. For safety, you need goggles, ideally not sunglasses, gloves, and a breathing mask would be a good idea, but I'm going to be going outside to mix up my lye solution, so I'll show you that when we get there. As far as ingredients in the soap, you will need coconut oil. Now this is better than what you need. You can just use the cheap kind, but for me, locally, this is the best deal I have, and when you go on the soap websites to order soap oils, they look cheaper, but then when you go to pay shipping, sometimes it doesn't work out to be cheaper. So this is what I'm using. This is like something we would eat in my family, so it's like the virgin, the unrefined, good stuff. But I want to say it was like $17 at Sam's, and it is huge. It is 60 ounces, and I'm going to be using 30 ounces of this for our recipe. You will also need lye. I have to order mine on Amazon. I don't have access to lye locally. Hardware stores sometimes have it, but mine quit carrying it. And distilled water. And then for mixing it up, you'll need a big bowl and another container to mix up your lye water. I recommend that this be plastic. You'll see why when we get there. You also need a spoon, a stick blender, a digital scale, and I'm going to be using a cardboard box lined with wax paper for my mold. And you can just use a knife when you get to cutting your soap, but I have this fancy little wavy cutter that'll make it beautiful. I also have this mold. It's silicone, but it's really small, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be using it today, but we'll see. I am going to put the recipe below again. I think I said that. Okay, I'm outside with my distilled water and my lye. Now, one thing you will need to remember with this is wear your goggles, wear your gloves, and always add lye to water, not water to lye. And just do it slowly. If I wasn't holding my phone, I would be stirring it right now too, but that's okay. It's gonna be fine. And you need to measure your ingredients really accurately, because that's why it's important to have a digital scale. If you don't get it precisely enough, you could ruin a batch of soap, and you could have spent like a lot of money on the oils and stuff, so you don't want that to happen. Okay, so now we're going to stir it, and you need to use a non-metal utensil for this. I'm using plastic. You can use wood, but the problem with wood is eventually your spoon will start to splinter. I mean, like if you have one soap spoon and you use it for every batch, it can start to splinter, and you don't want splinters in your soap, obviously. Okay, so in a minute this is going to start to turn clear. Now, I will say that I am not editing this video. If you want a short video about how to make soap and you want it to be quick and to the point, I have one like that. I will link it below, but this is going to be everything. You're going to see everything in this. Okay, so I'll come back when this is done. Okay, so my lye water is clear now, and you can see your stirring utensil inside. I am now going to put it in the sink full of ice water to cool down the temperature. Like I said, that is why you wanted to use a plastic container. So this is the coconut oil. I didn't say this, but if you've never worked with coconut oil before, it is solid at 76 degrees. So it can be kind of hard to scoop it out of your container to measure it. What I like to do is run the whole container under hot water. If your container is microwave safe, you can also melt it that way. And then regardless of that, you actually need to get your oil heated up a bit. For my method, there are people who use room temperature oils, but I find that it is faster to get it to trace if your oils are within a certain range. So this right now is 124 degrees. For cold processed soap, you want the oil and the lye to both be somewhere between 90 and 130 degrees. Again, if it's not that way, then it's just going to take you a lot longer to blend it together. So I had this in the microwave. If you're not really sure about how to monitor the temperature, it can be faster to just put a pan on the stove and heat it up that way. This is just hot oil, so you don't need to be like too worried about it. The lye water is still in the sink, and I'm about to check the temperature of that actually. 138 or okay, yeah, it's still about 140, so not quite there yet. I'm going to give it another minute. And I didn't say this, but this is a new toy that I have. and it is super handy for this. I used to not have one. It would be a lot cheaper to get a candy thermometer, but mine broke. You can also just kind of feel the outside of the container, not the inside, the outside of the container, and that can be another way to do it if you don't want to get a thermometer, but really this makes the job a lot easier. Okay, so my oil is 120 degrees and my lye water is 135, so I'm just going to go with it. We are slowly going to add this in, and again, if I wasn't holding my phone, I would be stirring it while I'm doing this, but it'll be okay. This is also a much smaller batch of soap than what I've usually made. I usually have this big 5-gallon bucket that I can use, but right now this is the biggest container I have, so I had to make like half a recipe. I was just going to dump that whole 60 ounces of coconut oil in and calculate my lye and water for that exactly so I don't have to measure my oil, but don't have a big enough mixing bowl. Okay, so we're just going to stir this. And one thing that's special about this recipe is with coconut oil, if you only use coconut oil, it can make for a really hard drying bar of soap. So the trick to that is you put 20% superfatting into your lye calculator. And if you're new at making soap, I wouldn't really recommend messing with that, but if you're using a recipe and this is the soap you want to make, then it will be okay. Okay, so we're going to get like a nice moisturizing bar of soap, and I've actually never made this recipe before, so I will definitely tell you how it turns out. And I am going to hit this with a stick blender now. You really don't have to stir it too much with the spoon. So I will be right back after I blend it for a couple minutes. I'll let you know how long it takes to get to the pudding consistency. I've been pulsing this for about 2 minutes, and you can see that the color changed very quickly. And I will keep going at it and tell you when it gets to pudding consistency. As you can tell, this is like a really thick pudding consistency, so it is done. I've been stirring at it and alternating with the stick blender for about 10 minutes. I don't even know if I've used the stick blender for 5 minutes of it. Yeah, so it was pretty quick. And now we are going to pour it into a mold. So I'm going to ask for a helper to hold the camera.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't say this, but if you wanted essential oils, you would stir them in right now before you put it in the mold, but I'm not doing any, so now I'm just going to put this into the mold. And then I have a little spatula that I can use to scrape the bowl out good. Which I think my mold is really big for this. But it didn't all fit in the little one, so that's okay. Okay, so all your tools, you can just get things like this at the dollar store. I recommend keeping them separate from your food stuff, but really if you clean it off with vinegar and paper towels and then you put it through the dishwasher, should be okay. But I just go to the dollar store for my tools. Okay, so it's really lumpy in the mold, so I am smoothing it out. I'm sorry this video is kind of like shaky and stuff. I really wanted to take a second soap video and show you guys another one, but I'm not going to be able to do another nice one like I did before. So if you have any questions, just leave them below. I hope I'm not going too fast. I mean, if this is something you want to do, definitely watch other YouTubers make soap. Watch several, because everyone does it like a little bit differently. Do some research on the safety, find a place to get your supplies. Like it's a fun hobby. I mean, anybody could do this, so I think it's cool, but just make sure you know what you're doing and it'll all be good. So after I get this done, we are going to put the box away, and I don't have a lid for it, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I'm honestly probably just going to toss a towel over it, and I've heard that coconut oil soap hardens up quickly, so I will let you know how long it takes, but I'm thinking it might be ready by the end of the day. I'll have to check on it. And then we're just going to cut it into bars and then leave it on a wire rack to cure, and it should be ready in about 2 months. We'll see. And yeah, I'll be back when it's done. It has been about 8 hours, and this is the soap. I just had a towel thrown over the box like this. not the fanciest mold ever. And it is already ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. I usually let my soap go for like 24 hours, but a lot of them I don't even check at this point, but I would say that this seems to be, it seems to harden up faster. So it is ready to be cut, so I'm gonna pop it out of here and show it to you and start cutting it. So this is the soap out of the mold, and as you can see, it's not gonna be like the prettiest bar. This is probably how thick it's going to be about, and then I'm just gonna cut out the individual bars. It could turn out nicer if you bought soap molds, but I really don't like the added expense. I should really just do it though, because I make soap a lot. But anyway, you can see what the crinkle cutter's doing. That looks really cool. And I'm going to cut around the edges first, so it all looks crinkly. And then I'll just cut out the individual bars, because I am going to be giving this out at Christmas, hopefully. So I want it to look nice. We are in my bathroom linen closet, because it has a nice wire shelf, and I like to leave my soap here to cure. I have 9 bars. I do cut them big. These are like 4 to 5 ounces each, and they are going to lose a little bit of weight as they dry out more. But as you can see, it's a big bar. I really like that crinkle cutter. It's really cute. Sorry, try not to get my child running around in his underwear. Yeah. I found it on Amazon, and that really makes it look neat. So this is what we made, and if I like it, I'm going to do this recipe again, because like I said, I only got 9 bars out of it. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I will try to help.